I want you to imagine this for a second. You walk into your kitchen looking for your keys, and they're nowhere to be found. You check the table, your bag, even your pocket. Nothing. Frustration builds. You think, I just had them a minute ago. Or maybe you're mid-conversation with a friend, and suddenly you can't remember what they just said. Your mind blanks for a moment, and you feel that sinking feeling. Did I completely lose focus? Here's the thing. Moments like these aren't just annoying. They're a window into something really important, your working memory. By the end of this video, you'll do a simple test that shows exactly how strong your working memory is. And more importantly, you'll understand why some people seem effortlessly focused, while others constantly forget even the little things. It's time to find out where you stand. Working memory is like the brain's scratch pad. It's where we temporarily hold and manipulate information to get things done. Whether that's doing mental math, following a conversation, or remembering a phone number long enough to dial it. It's often confused with short-term memory, but there's a key difference. Short-term memory is just storage, holding info briefly. Working memory, on the other hand, is active. It's storage plus processing. You're not just remembering, you're thinking while remembering. Psychologist Alan Badley broke working memory down into three main components. First, the phonological loop, which handles verbal information, words, numbers, sounds. Then there's the visuospatial sketchpad, which manages visual and spatial info, like picturing a route on a map. Finally, the central executive is the boss. It decides what to pay attention to, what to ignore, and how to coordinate the other two systems. Understanding this model helps explain why multitasking often fails. If the central executive is overloaded, your phonological loop or visuospatial sketchpad can't keep up. That's why we forget names in a conversation or misplace items around the house. Working memory isn't fixed. It can be trained, challenged, and improved, just like a muscle. I remember the first time I really realized how fragile my working memory could be. I was at a friend's game night, juggling a conversation, keeping score, and trying to remember the rules of a new board game. Somehow, I completely forgot the sequence of turns, and in the middle of the game, I blurted out the wrong score. Everyone laughed, and I felt that familiar sinking feeling, the kind that hits when your brain just blanks. Later, my friend mentioned a simple memory test psychologists use. Out of curiosity, I tried it on my phone. It involved remembering a series of numbers, then letters, then a mix of both. I failed the first round. And the weird part? It wasn't that I was dumb. It was that my working memory had reached its limit, juggling too many small tasks at once. That moment stuck with me. It was eye-opening. Working memory has fascinated psychologists for decades because it's central to how we think, learn, and solve problems. One of the most famous findings comes from George Miller in 1956, who suggested we can hold about 7 plus or minus 2 items in our working memory at a time. That's why remembering a 10-digit phone number without chunking can feel impossible. Cognitive load theory explains why this limit matters. Your brain has a finite capacity for processing information. When you overload it, trying to multitask, remember too many things, or process complex instructions, your working memory struggles and forgetfulness increases. Working memory isn't just about storage, it's also about attention and control. The central executive, part of Baddeley's model, decides what to focus on and what to ignore. This explains why distractions are so costly. Each interruption forces your brain to reorient, reducing effective working memory capacity. Even everyday tasks rely on the system, calculating a tip, following a recipe, or remembering a friend's story mid-conversation. When we understand the science, it becomes clear why some people can juggle multiple mental tasks effortlessly, while others feel mentally drained after just a few. Let's put your working memory to the test right now. Don't worry, this is quick and you can do it anywhere. I want you to remember this sequence of numbers: 7, 2, 9, 4, 6. Say them out loud or write them down if it helps. Got it? Good. Now, I'm going to ask you to reverse them in your mind. That's right. Start with the last number and work backward. 6, 4, 9, 2, 7. How did you do? Next, try this with letters: B, M, F, K, R. Remember them? Then mix them with the numbers you just reversed. Now your brain is juggling multiple streams of information at once. Most people find this surprisingly tricky on the first try, and that's normal. Each shows the limits of working memory and why our brains sometimes fail, even on simple tasks. Psychologists have developed precise ways to measure working memory, beyond the simple tests we just tried. One common method is the digit span task, where participants repeat sequences of numbers forward or backward. Performance here reflects the brain's ability to hold and manipulate information. Another widely used test is the N-back task. In this exercise, you monitor a series of stimuli, numbers, letters, or shapes, and identify when the current item matches one from N steps earlier. This continuously challenges both storage and attention, making it a robust measure of working memory. Then there's the Corsi block test, which uses spatial memory. You watch a sequence of blocks light up on a screen and must replicate the pattern. This taps the visual spatial sketchpad, highlighting the visual component of working memory. It's important to note the difference between recall and recognition. Recall requires actively reconstructing information, which is harder, while recognition is just identifying what you've seen before. Working memory tests often combine both, revealing not just capacity, but control over attention and processing. These methods help psychologists understand why some people can multitask effortlessly, while others struggle even with small mental loads. I remember a friend of mine preparing for a big presentation at work. She had multiple data sets to remember, slides to organize, and a Q&A session looming at the end. Every detail mattered. During rehearsal, she stumbled, forgot a key statistic, mixed up the sequence of slides. The stress was palpable. But then she tried a technique she'd read about, breaking information into chunks and repeating it aloud. By the day of the presentation, something remarkable happened. Despite the pressure, she recalled the numbers accurately, explained complex ideas clearly, and even handled unexpected questions smoothly. That's working memory in action. It's not just about holding information, it's about managing and using it under stress. When your working memory is trained and focused, everyday challenges, from presentations to conversations, become far more manageable. Moments like these show why strengthening working memory isn't just a brain exercise, it's a real-life superpower. The good news? Working memory isn't fixed. Research shows it can be strengthened with targeted strategies. One effective technique is chunking, grouping information into meaningful units. For example, it's easier to remember a phone number as 555-204-9187 rather than 10 separate digits. This reduces cognitive load and frees up mental space. Another powerful tool is dual N-back training. Studies suggest that practicing this task regularly can enhance working memory and improve fluid intelligence. It forces your brain to hold multiple pieces of information while continuously updating them. Mindfulness and meditation also help. By training attention and reducing distractions, mindfulness strengthens the central executive, making it easier to focus on the task at hand. Finally, simple lifestyle choices matter. Adequate sleep, exercise, and minimizing multitasking all support working memory. Even small habits like repeating instructions aloud or visualizing information can make a measurable difference. With consistent practice, your working memory becomes more reliable, letting you juggle mental tasks, stay focused, and remember details effortlessly in daily life. So, how did you do on the working memory tests? Did you breeze through, or did some sequences trip you up? Whatever your score, here's the takeaway. Working memory isn't a fixed trait. It's a skill you can train and strengthen. Think about the everyday moments. Remembering names, following instructions, or juggling tasks at work. Your working memory is quietly guiding every decision, every interaction, every action. Strengthening it isn't just about brain games. It's about improving focus, reducing stress, and performing better in real life. Even small changes, chunking information, practicing memory exercises, reducing distractions, can make a huge difference over time. So, take a moment to reflect. What's one strategy you can try today to challenge your working memory? Remember, your brain is capable of more than you think. And with practice, forgetfulness doesn't have to define your day. Your focus, your memory, your mind, it's all trainable.